Oh, there, okay. I was worried we had lost Wolf. Okay, John, whenever you're ready.
Okay, let us pray. We come to you this hour asking for your blessing, help as we are gathered together. Father, we pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you would challenge each of us to reach higher and farther to be the best we can as we serve our community, thus serve you. All these things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Good morning. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John and Dave. Does anyone have a guest to introduce this morning? Or if you are a guest and you'd like to introduce yourself, be sure to unmute yourself if you're going to talk. Okay, no guests. How about announcements this morning? Does anyone have an announcement they'd like to share with the club? Susan Robinaugh.
Good morning, everyone. Tomorrow is our big shopping day for Salvation Army and Santero. So we're all excited. We're all set and well organized. So we're going to execute it tomorrow, and then we'll be delivering to Santero and to Salvation Army within the next couple of weeks. But I just want to say thank you for all your support and your generous donations to Handbid or direct to our foundation. Without your support, this program can't continue. So now more than ever, it's incredible, the needs. So I just want to say thank you. And so far we've raised $1,400 out of Handbid and about another $600 out of checks being sent to the foundation. So our goal is to collect $3,000. So we'll get there. I know we will. We always do. And we look forward to shopping tomorrow. If anybody doesn't have anything to do tomorrow at 9 o'clock at Kohl's and wants to come and shop, by all means, come and join us. It's always a fun morning. So thank you again. And I'll see all the shoppers tomorrow. And we'll give you an update when it's all done and delivered. Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. That's an extraordinary effort by you and your shopping team every year. Anybody who still would like to donate, please look for the emails from Mike Isler with the link to Handbid, and you can go straight there. Pete Fulbriggy.
The Polar Bear golf outing is on February 6th. We're looking for golfers and hole sponsors. I don't know if we'll have the luncheon or the raffle because we'll wait to see how that goes, but the golf is definitely on. So please sign up. We have flyers ready, which I can send you if you like. And also the website is, and the sign up on Eventbrite are complete. So please be a hole sponsor and bring a foursome.
Thank you.
Thank you. David?
Yes.
I want to call attention to the article in this month's Rotarian about our club in Barrow, Alaska. I'm going to say a few words about it next week. In there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Tom will be giving us a brief on that club next Friday in our meeting. So we'll look forward to that, Tom. Thank you. Other announcements?
David?
Yes, Lou.
I want to announce that the Dublin Finance Committee awarded us $2,000 for the car show this coming September.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for your continued work on that, Lou. That's huge. That more than covers our overhead on that show, I believe. So everything we take in is going to our calls. Any other announcements this morning?
Yeah. The board knows, and I'm not sure how many other people know, but I raised $400 for the Rotary Foundation, Dublin AM Rotary Foundation, with the calendar sale. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Roberta. That's awesome. And I understand you've got a few art shows going on right now. Would you like to tell us about those?
Sure. I've got at 3060 Artworks in on the hilltop. It's an art gallery. 9 of my photos are there for the month of December. And I have 2 at Starbucks on Bridge Street, or will today. They've been closed every time I went there to hang my photos, but that's all I have. The one at the rec center came down in end of November. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements? Okay.
I just have a question, David. I
Okay.
thought we were all supposed to wear Santa hats, and I only count 4 out there. So do we just have a bunch of Grinches in our group, or what?
Well, we still have 2 more meetings before Christmas, so everybody will get an opportunity to get their Santa hat out.
It was for today, Susan. I agree.
I didn't realize it was cats. I only wore a shirt. Sorry about forgetting the hat.
That's good, Joe.
That's why I had to scream way up.
I think that's a fine. I don't know who the sergeant is, but I'd be ringing the register for some cash.
I have a quick announcement, if you don't mind, or a request. We've been talking about putting together a social happy hour via Zoom as a holiday replacement party and doing breakout rooms and, changing it up a bit. So if anybody has any experience doing that or great ideas, please let me know, because we're trying to get this planned for the next week or so and just have some fun.
Okay. Other
David, I have an announcement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to give an update on our 2020 Red Kettle Bell Ringing campaign. I can't articulate enough how well this club has stepped up to make sure that all the shifts have been filled for tomorrow's kettle ringing at both Kroger locations. As we all know, with the COVID, it's been a challenging year. There's been a number of the members who have great lament that they can't be there this year, but safety's first. And we've had some jiggling around during the week as some folks have had to make some late decisions about whether or not they can participate or not. And that's all clearly understood. And when we've had those needs, we put a little announcement out. In a blink, one of our members has stepped up to fill that spot. So this message is not so much about that we have all the shifts filled. This message is about our club. All of you know this club is a great organization of good people, and it reflects how we respond to these kind of situations. So I'm real proud of everybody. Good luck tomorrow. If you're bell ringing, it's going to be similar to every year prior. Please wear a mask. If you have a bell buddy with you, be on either side of the kettle. I think folks coming by will be respectful. They'll probably pensively step up to the kettle, make a contribution. Everybody just do what's right. And in the end, this will work. So thank you. I think we've just done a wonderful job.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. And it's going to be a good time, as it always is. And I'm looking forward to it. So thank you to all the members who have stepped up, and to those who weren't able to or didn't feel safe this year. We'll do it again next year.
Correct.
I got a question for Bruce. Now, Bruce, everybody's working from home, typically hanging out in their pajamas. Are those pajamas with a tie printed on it? Can't tell.
No,
Oh, wait.
Fancy pajamas.
it's how I need to dress sometimes for work.
Okay, so today is our annual meeting, which means that we are going to, the proposal for the 2021 to 2022 board is going to be put before you, and we're going to ask you to vote on it. I'm going to call on Mike Isler to present his board proposal for next Rotary year, which starts July 1st. Claudia sent out an email yesterday with that board proposal, and she asked that everyone please reply back with a yes or no. Do you vote yes or do you vote no on that? So go ahead, Mike, with your proposal for next year.
Okay, thanks, David. Good morning, everyone. And I hope you can see my screen. I attempted to share the document that Claudia has emailed out. And under normal circumstances, we would be inviting all of these nominated board members to the front of our room to be recognized. Since we're not together, I thought I would just take a minute to recognize all of them because we are really excited about this board slate and also really grateful to all of them for volunteering to serve. So the proposal, as you can see, President, yours truly, President-elect Susan West, Vice President Ingrid Fields. Congratulations to Ingrid. Past President, of course, will be David Bentz. Treasurer, continuing Rich Weber. Secretary, Claudia Trustee. Our Sergeant at Arms and Veteran Services, continuing Dave Williamson. Continuing as our membership chair, Lori Reinbolt. Continuing as our club services chair, Peter Georgiton. And continuing as our community services chair, Sharon Kendall. And as our international services chair, Jim Burness. And our educational services chair, which is the new committee structure that David formed at the start of his year. Continuing there is Steve Schmidt. And really excited to be welcoming Mari Patel to our board as our new communications chair, as Ingrid steps into the vice president role. And then our at-large members continuing are Cindy Groniger, Pete Fulbrigge, and Sue Burness. And if we could just thank them all, and I hope that we will not break our historic record of not having any issues with the proposed board members this year, and just reply if you do have any concerns. But hopefully nobody has any concerns, and we'll just thank all these folks for volunteering their time and their service. David, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mike, and thank you to all these board members, most of who are serving this year. We have an outstanding board this year, and most of these people have agreed to continue on next year, which is really awesome. So thank you to everybody on the board. So I am going to now, it's 8 o'clock, I'm going to call on Paige Vornbrock to introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you, Mr. President. My pleasure to introduce Joe Yersavich. Joe, as we know, is our branch manager for the Dublin branch of Columbus Metropolitan Library System. Most of you, hopefully all of us, would remember Joe graciously hosting a meeting here about a year ago, maybe a little longer, Joe, when the library was well under construction. Absolutely gorgeous. It is just, it's a challenging time for you, Joe, and we certainly appreciate it. No surprise, OSU grad, master's degree from Kent State in library services, been with the library for 25 years. What we don't know, because we don't hear from Joe frequently, is the fact that he has been a speaker at some of the National Library Convention pieces. So well respected in the industry. well respected at home. I'm not sure his bride Tina always buys the good stuff we say about him, but I'm sure the kids do. So, Joe, all yours.
Thank you, Paige. Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you all for allowing me to speak today. It's my favorite thing to do is talk about libraries. So it really is a pleasure. That being said, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Let's see here. All right, can someone, Paige, can you give me an audible, yeah, I see that, if you can see my PowerPoint?
It's up and running.
Hot dog, all right. Well, let's roll. I'm gonna start my clock because how much time do I got? I should ask.
Well, normally we try and keep it to 55 minutes, but we've got about 20 this morning.
Gotcha.
About 20 and plus questions and answers after that.
Okay, 1 hour, 20 minutes. Gotcha. I'll start right off. All right, well, thank you again. I've got, I was thinking about talking today, what I wanted to talk about and what you wanted to hear. Obviously, the pandemic is on everyone's mind. But I also wanted to talk about things you might not know about the library. So I kind of split my presentation up a little bit. But going over, library services during a pandemic, I think we all kind of feel, we've all been through this together and we all know how difficult this is. So I'm not going to go over the whole timeline of what the library did. Because honestly, it's, the time is tough and it's tough for everybody. So what I'm going to do is just focus on the challenges that we face right now. So our challenges as a library, how do we keep people safe when most of our services are built around serving a lot of people at once? If you think about typical library services, people come in the library, there's a lot of folks in there and they mill around, pick out their own things. So that's one of the challenges. Also, story times, homework help. Helping folks, find jobs and helping them on a computer. And then there's the whole idea of sharing items between people. How do we make sure we can share these books and spaces and computers safely with the threat of the virus? And then, of course, getting close and helping people. How do we help people from a distance? And, how do we help children learn at a distance? So these are some of the challenges, and these are not obviously challenges that are just the library. They're not unique to us.
Joe, may I interrupt for just a second? Can you jump into slideshow? I'm not sure we're getting the full screen there. We're getting the setup.
Oh, you getting my
slideshow on your piece?
I sure can. All right. Give me a hot second here. Well, there's always a little bit of technical difficulty. If we didn't have it, it wouldn't be fun. Let's see here. All right. Okay, better?
Perfect.
Okay, let me run through here. We should be on the challenges. You see that without my notes this time? All right. So let's get back to the solutions. So obviously we all have these new health requirements which help us stay safe. We've got masks that we wear, distancing and health checks. And what we've tried to do as a library is put everything online. So all of our services that we can We've tried to duplicate them online, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. You know, and the two words around the library, quarantine and clean. So all of our returns that come in are quarantined for 96 hours. And that's actually developed from a protocol that OCLC was instrumental in partnering with Battelle to create. It's called the REALM project. And they actually did studies with the virus on different types of library materials, determined that it can survive up to 96 hours, or that 96 hours was a safe amount of time to quarantine things before handling them. And then, of course, other solutions around technology, online technology, screen sharing, Zoom, and then, of course, being at a distance. So curbside delivery, limiting occupancy inside the location, and making sure we're spaced out. So some of you might remember this day. I know a lot of you were there. This is our opening. And this is the library that we're kind of used to, right? Full library with lots of activity and people. So what does that library look like today? Well, the good news is people are still getting their materials. There's still families that are able to visit the library to get things. It just looks a little bit different. So this is back, right now we're at curbside, which means we do our delivery through curbside, but this was when we were in limited access, where people could come in, look through our shelves and pick out materials. And you know, this is the typical, the hall. You see this customer with armfuls of books, which we love to see. And we've been really busy on our reserves and our outgoing materials, not as much as we would have been if we've had customers come in the building, but we've still seen some great usage. So this is what a staff meeting would look like before. And of course, you're all familiar with this look. This is what staff meetings look like now. So we've had to change a lot. We've had to adjust and adapt, but that's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on solutions and not the problem. And we're looking for ways to help the community still. So I just wanted to go over quickly our levels of service. Right now, we're at curbside delivery, which is where, you know, customers can come up, pull into our garage. If you have reserves, we can grab them, check them out to you, and deliver them to your vehicle. The next level of service is what we call limited access, where you know, we limit our occupancy to 25 people inside the library and limit your time in there. It's not a come in and hang out. It's more of a come in, get what you need to get done, get your stuff and go, to let other folks back in. But we're looking forward to the next steps, you know, the gradual reopening of services. And then finally, you know, someday, and I know hopefully will be soon, we'll be back to full access. And the great thing about this is we've learned a lot from it. So hopefully when we do get back, we're going to be stronger than ever, because we'll have all this new learned knowledge. So that's the pandemic stuff. And you can ask questions at the end. I'll give lots of time for that. But I wanted to move on to something that I enjoy, and that's sharing all the secrets of the library. So here are 10 things you should know about your library, but probably don't. So the first is just our vision and purpose, which I think is important. So a thriving community where wisdom prevails. I think it's important that the community is at the center of everything we do. That's why we exist. And a thriving community is what we want to see. So that's what kind of guides all our decisions. And it's a filter which we see everything through. And this is the reason we exist, our purpose, to inspire reading, to share resources and connect people. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of that today. So number 2, and Paige wanted to make sure that I mention this, you can apply for a card online. So I've got a screenshot here of our website. And at the very top, you'll see with the yellow circle, apply for a card. If you click on that link, you'll be taken to a little form where you can fill out your information, and then you'll get a library card number emailed to you, and then you'll get one in the mail. So you can use that card right away for our online services. And then if you come into the library, we can actually activate it so that you can then check out materials. But all the things I'm going to show you, you can access with that library card from your house. So you can get it at home, you can use it at home. And I want to, if you hear nothing else, you know, if you don't have a library card, that's okay, but we can get one for you. It's really simple. And I'd love to see all the Rotarians have a library card. So secret, top 10 things, number 3 is what I call the secret search. So many of you have searched the catalog before for a library. Ours is very similar. You click your title in a search box and look for the item, hopefully find it. Well, sometimes there might be an item that we don't own. You know, some of our customers want, for some reason, to read about the Alabama football team. I don't know, it's kind of nuts to me, but apparently some people are into that. So if you did a search for a book title called Always Alabama, which is about the Crimson Tide, you won't find anything in Columbus's holdings. But if you look down at the screen under where it says nothing found, you'll see a little arrow pointing to search. If you click on that search, it actually takes you out to a service we provide called Search Ohio. And from here, all you have to do is click request it, enter your library card number, and that book will be sent to your Dublin library. So I think this is a step that people miss, but it opens up access to a ton of more information. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. Number 4, I think this is important, curbside service. So this is what we're offering right now. And of course we can bring your reserves right to your car. The other thing we can do though, is we can get you book bundles, or we can get you a librarian's pick or a group of books based on your reading likes. So you don't even have to have reserves. You can pull in and say, hey, I'm looking for a bundle of books for a 4th grader, or I want some fiction, I want some mysteries, or just give me a good book. You know, our job is to get materials into people's hands, and we're doing everything we can to keep that going. So, you know, pull up, come to the library and ask for a book bundle or a librarian's pick. We'll be happy to get it for you. Now, you may have heard of ebooks, but I want to just call out e-content. So all kinds of content. So if you see on the screen, I've circled ebooks and audiobooks, movies and music, magazines, documentaries, and then of course, instructions on how to use the different types of e-content. So a lot of people know about Libby and our books. You can also get audiobooks, which are great. You never have to return these. You don't have to worry about late fees. Don't have to worry about losing it or setting it down in the airport. It's automatically returned. But we also have magazines. So we've got, the imagery on these things are great. It's just like holding a glossy magazine. And that's called Flipster. And any one of these things, we can help you navigate through it. And I'll touch on that later as well. And then Hoopla also has audiobooks and music. So these are great sources of e-content, and they're easy to use. It takes a little bit of setup, but once you're set up and running, you're in. And it's a piece of cake. So secret number 6, events for kids and adults. You can see on the bar there, the events tab is circled. And if you click on that, you know, there's no in-person events right now, but we have a ton of things online. So our online ready for kindergarten classes, which help kids get ready for school and help parents be their kids' first best teacher. And we do toddler story times and other story times on Zoom. So even though we can't get together in person, we can still do these things virtually. We've got a couple of the Dublin Storytime leaders doing Zoom, and they're having a blast doing it, and the kids are really loving it. But it's not just for kids. We also do job help through Zoom, through Indeed. One of our partners is from Columbus, Goodwill Columbus, and one of their career facilitators can help people make their online job searching easier. And we still offer afternoon school snack, or after school snack. So this is a partnership that we have, the Children's Hunger Alliance. What we noticed, especially in some of our urban branches, kids were coming in after school for homework help and they couldn't focus because they were just hungry. So we found a solution to that. We didn't want that solution to stop with the pandemic. So actually, Children's Hunger Alliance will provide these snacks that people can come through and pick up remotely, so they can take them home. So that kids don't they're not missing that, that important meal, important snack. So trick number 7 is our contact us button. So that's at the top of our website. And our website, I should mention, it's at the top of all these slides, but it's www.columbuslibrary.org. But that contact us is more than just a phone number. Our phone number, of course, is there, and our email, but you'll see things like My Next Read, where if you contact us and tell us what you like to read, we'll create a book list just for you. So there's a librarian curated list of titles that you might like. Another thing you can do is connect with our local history and genealogy department if you want to do some genealogy research. So these are, powerful ways to use the library, either for reader's advisory or genealogy, but that's not all. You can also reserve an expert. So you can book your own personal librarian. So what would you do that for? Well, here's some examples. Say you need help with your digital content. You need help with your iPad or your Kindle Fire. Or if you're looking for business resources, we've got tons of information for local businesses, or if you're looking for a job or just some life skills around getting food, or different social programs, and then legal advice. So we offer all of these things reservable through an expert. All you have to do is click on it and you can schedule a time. So number 8 is probably my favorite. I could do a whole talk just on our research tab. So these research tools A to Z lists all of these paid services that we have. These are subscriptions that you have access to with your library card. This is not anything that you're going to find by doing a Google search. You're not going to find this on the open web. So I cannot stress how powerful these tools are. I've listed some of my favorites. I just kind of cut and pasted them so it looks kind of messy on the screen. But just to go over them quickly, All Data is for car repair. So you've got an old car you want to work on or a new car, you can look on All Data. It'll bring up the schematics, repair information, how much a job could cost or should cost if you take it to the mechanic. Consumer reports, good information there if you're researching things to buy. Creative Bug, if you want to get your knitting and sewing on or do something creative. EBSCO host articles, those are magazine abstracts and full text. So that goes beyond the Flipster. And if you're looking for that, and nothing is more frustrating than finding the perfect article and it's unavailable or you have to pay for it. There's a huge database of full text articles that you have for free with your library card. Moving on, Ancestry. Ancestry.com is available through the library. Lynda.com. Mango Languages, so learn a language or brush up on a language. Reference Solutions used to be called Reference USA. It's a super powerful tool with business phone numbers, addresses. You can do market research. You can figure out who your neighbors are or find a phone number across the nation and in Canada. Novelist Guide to Fiction, I use a lot as a reader's advisory tool, but you can also use it as a list to document the books you read and find other books like it. So that's almost your own reader's advisory tool. There's legal documents on there, New Wave legal documents that you can fill out. So if you need a quick claim deed or you're looking for a lease, that's a good place there. Of course, OCLC, WorldCat, this is a database of 400 million records. So if you can't find the book you're looking for in WorldCat, it's probably, it doesn't exist. No, it's huge. And you can use that for interlibrary loan to get those items as well. And then last on my list is Value Line Research. Anybody who wants to do research on stocks, bonds, we also have Morningstar for mutual funds. Tons of things that you could pay hundreds of dollars for are available. And I touched on this earlier, local history and genealogy. It's off our research tab, but if you click on that, there's tons of resources, including talking with a genealogist at Main Library. 2 things I wanted to point out: the Columbus Dispatch Digital. There's digital archives all the way back to 1871. I've lost myself in this, just looking up articles on family members. It's got everything from wedding announcements to home sales. It's a great little snapshot tool. And then My History down in the right corner. You've got access to images, documents, and other artifacts, including the entire Dublin history database. So this is what we use in partnership with the Dublin Historical Society to archive all that Dublin history. You can find it all there in My History. And this number 10, this is something that hasn't even been announced yet. So you guys are on the cutting edge. This is a self-checkout app. One of the things that was suggested early was that, it would be great if we could find something for customers to use so they don't have to use the self-checks at the branch. So this is an app where you can check out materials just using your phone. So this is obviously not available now that we're in curbside, but as soon as we're out of it, you can come in and check out materials wherever you're sitting, or you can grab them and, do it right at the shelves. This is going to be really handy for parents who sometimes have to gather everything up, go to the self-checks and check out. But it's also, it's built around safety. So this is one less thing that you have to come in contact with at the library. So that's my top 10 list. I'm right on 20 minutes. I am at the point where I am ready for questions, and I just want to thank you for listening. I know I went fast, but there's a lot of information and I'm really excited about it. So hopefully I found something out there for you all to be excited about as well. So with that said.
Joe, you missed one thing that I'm most excited about.
Oh, sure.
Which you've talked about before, but the auto renew is the best thing that ever happened because I could never get a book read and returned in time before, and then I'd always forget to renew it, and the auto renew has solved that problem.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, auto renew and no fines. So, we want you to bring it back on time, especially if someone else is waiting, but it's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
I love that.
Well, Joe, it's Ingrid. I just want to say thank you for the curbside checkout. This has been so nice, and your team is so pleasant. When I call in, and it's frankly, the restaurants could learn something from how pleasant you make the whole experience. So, just a thank you. That and Libby have been just delightful.
I appreciate that, Ingrid. I really do, and I'll share that with my team because that inspires them. And I hope that you have that experience every time. If you don't, you let me know, because it probably means I gotta, somebody's got something going on in their life. I gotta chat them up, see what's going on. So
I'll second that, Joe. They do a great job. The only issue I've ever had is they had a hard time finding which end of my car the trunk is on. So, but that's understandable. I did have a question, with the no fines policy and the automatic renewals. Have you noticed shrinkage becoming a problem? Or I don't know how many books you lose every year, but I'm imagining you lose a few. Has that ever become a problem?
No, well, we always look at theft, and we do inventories to check and see, different ways we do inventory. We do inventory of the books that are on our shelf and also our reserves. So the items that come in, those are the ones that are in high demand. So those are the ones we really worry about getting swiped, especially if someone is really looking forward and they come in and it's not there. But we found it's a small amount. We're talking 1%. And the reserves, usually what happens is they come back. So it's usually some error during checkout or somebody grabs the wrong book. It's usually, a mistake. It's not a willful act. And the library is built around trust. When you take all this stuff away, we're lending stuff out and we hope you bring it back. So it's all around trust. And the majority of the time, what I've learned, which is very encouraging, people that want to do the right thing. So they usually bring the stuff back, which is good.
Joe, the opposite end, when Cheryl's mother passed a year ago, we donated a number of books that we had that were relatively new. We'd finished them, hard copy books, and we donated them to the Madison County Library there in London. And if I'm not mistaken, our local libraries didn't have a resource for collecting used books. Is that something that you all look for, don't want? How do you handle that request that people might be?
Well, you know, I always preface these like, well, normally, normally we love donations. You know, right now it's a little trickier with the virus. We ask that folks just wait a little bit. It's not going to last forever, you know, just wait till it's over and then we can take those donations. And what typically happens, if it's something that's really hot that people want, we'll add that to the collection. Now that's, or if it's really unique. So those are two things, but that's the, you know, that's the smallest amount. What generally happens is we turn them over to our Friends of the Library, which is our, one of our research groups. And what they'll do is they'll sell them at a discount to customers. And then we can, that group will use that money to help support the library. So they go to the Friends of the Library, and that's, and they have an online presence. You can find those books if you like used books. You can go on our website, go under the Friends of the Library, and you can look at their online book sale. We also usually have a small, you may have seen it, a small book sale in our location. So sometimes we'll just keep them here and sell them just directly out of the location. That's a great question though.
Joe, what's the size of the library, not only square footage, but the number of volumes of books compared to the system, the rest of the?
Yep, so it's a great question. We, right now, we are pretty full. So it's tough when people aren't coming in every day and in the thousands to 2,000s checking out stuff. So right now we're about 90,000. And we would love to get those if any one of you want to come today, I will be happy to find your trunk, Wolf, and fill it. But typically we go from anywhere from, that's the top end. We typically are around 80, 75. And then the library system, gosh, if we in the Columbus system, I think it's 8 million. And then we have with our partner libraries, 10 million. It's a lot of materials. And then if you start talking about interlibrary loan, it's just huge. It's really limitless. If you want the book, we can get it. So,
Joe, thanks for the time today. Great discussion. I was just curious, your insight. Have you seen a significant increase in demand with Libby and Overdrive, the audiobooks and ebooks as it relates to the pandemic?
Absolutely, Kurt. It's another great question. So we've seen those uses go way up and our reserves. So those are the two things. Obviously, the folks coming in has gone way down, but Libby, our reserve and expert, those remote resources have gone way up. And that's where we put more of our resources. So, you know, it's a little away from your question, but if you talk about finances, we've had to make some decisions about where we put our resources. And we've done a bunch of things as far as furloughs and using Shared Work Ohio, but we want to make sure we're still staying relevant. That's extremely important. But a lot of people are using those services and we want our collection to be as robust as possible. So that's why we're continuing to fund those channels, and we're happy to help anyone who wants to learn. Because I like the hard copy book, but I'm of the mind, if you're not with the type of book you love, be with the, you know, the book you're with, you know. So if you have to, you might as well go the e-route because it can be really handy. Thanks.
Okay, we are on the hour, so I'm going to have to cut off questions, but I'm sure Joe would entertain any questions through email or phone calls if you want to reach out to him directly. Thank you, Joe, for the presentation. I can say when I was in there before COVID, what I loved about the library is the merchandising that you do. It really does inspire me to browse the shelves and pick up authors and books that I would never have known about before. I especially love the librarian's picks and the way you kind of put those out on tables and flip books around so we can just kind of browse. It's kind of an adventure to go. And then now, because of your presentation, I found two tools that can help me with that, and my next read and the novel list tool. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of those and see if I can find some new authors to read in the types of books I like. But thank you very much for your presentation today. I think everybody learned something, and we appreciate you being part of our club as well, and in keeping our community strong with our library.
Thank you, David. Thank
That
you.
was great.
Yeah, definitely. Next week we'll hear, and I think I'm going to butcher this person's name because I think I've got Jensen Hikes. I think somebody called him Johan maybe, but from the Boy Scouts. So be here next week. We'll
Jensen's
hear,
a woman, by the way.
Jensen's a
Jensen
woman.
is a woman. Okay, and it is Jensen.
She's
Okay.
been a guest at our club a couple of times. Really nice young lady.
Okay, super. Then we'll look forward to hearing from Miss Jensen Hikes next week. Our quote of the week comes from someone named E.B. White. Books are good company in sad times and happy times, for books are people who have managed to stay alive by hiding between the covers of a book. With that, I wish you all a great weekend. I'll see some of you out at the Kroger's this weekend, and happy bell ringing. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Great presentation, Joe.
Great presentation.
Did he leave?